In this video today, I'm going to be answering the age-old question, how did Warren Buffett become so rich? Now, if you're in your 20s or even in your 30s, it's not too late to become just as rich as Warren Buffett is right now. In fact, he only hit millionaire status in his 30s, and today I'm going to outline 10 steps which you can also follow to reach the same status as Warren Buffett and hopefully become a millionaire or even a billionaire in the future. Now, many of you think that Warren Buffett got rich from his investments in Coca-Cola or Geico, but the truth is that those investments of his actually came much later on in his investment career. In fact, it was so late that he had already hit billionaire status when those investments came about. So let's get into it. Let's go over 10 steps here that took Warren Buffett from $0 all the way up to over $85 billion. And I'm hoping that if you watch this whole video, that it'll motivate you to do the same. So step 1, buying his first stock. When Buffett was only 11 years old, when most of us were playing on our Xbox or trading Pokemon cards, Buffett was making his very first investment. He bought 3 shares of a company called City Service Preferred for $38 a share, which is a total investment of around $114. Now keep in mind that these dollar amounts are actually amounts from way back in the day, so today that actually would be worth a lot more. But either way, that's just an aside to keep in mind. He then sold off this stock shortly after for around $40 a share, making a profit of $6, and this was just the beginning. Step 2, building streams of income. So now that he got some exposure to building money in the stock market, he wanted to actually diversify his streams of income and look at other ways to make money. One method was by delivering paper door to door, and in a couple of years he managed to save up around $2,000 in his bank account. So now not only was he delivering papers here and collecting money, but he was also investing simultaneously and learning about that aspect even more as well. So step 3, diversify. So now that he had all this money that he's earned from different sources, he wanted to put it in somewhere and actually invest that money. But he also wanted to diversify his investments not only into the stock market. So what he did was he actually put some money into a farm investment, around $1,200 or so, and then spread out the remaining amount of money purchasing these pinball machines for around $25 a piece. He would then place these pinball machines in barbershops across the states, and this would bring him around $25 a week in passive income. And within a year, he actually sold his pinball business for around $1,200, making a pretty good profit on that. Step 4, education. Something that's often overlooked these days, which is very common with a lot of YouTubers, is education, and a lot of people believe that education is not valuable, but Buffett was a huge believer in education, and he even attended school in the education system. He completed a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Nebraska and then went to Columbia Business School for his Master's of Science in Economics. Step 5, working a job. So now that he had some knowledge and experience with economics and business, he actually started working a job as a stockbroker. A few years into this career, he actually moved jobs and started working under Benjamin Graham, which is another huge famous investor out there in the investing community. And after a few years of this job, Benjamin Graham actually decided that he was going to shut down his company. And as a result, Buffett decided to move back to his hometown and kind of figure something else out. But at this point, he actually saved up around $174,000 in his bank account. Step 6, starting a business. So after gaining some real-world experience here, Buffett actually went and started his own investment practice or firm or whatever you want to call it, called the Buffett Partnership. And his goal was actually very simple. It was just to get a bunch of people who had a lot of money to trust in him, give him a certain portion of money, and then he would make them all rich while also collecting some fees. This is a very similar concept to like a mutual fund where he's kind of the fund manager, and for every investor that invests, he collects a fee from them. And pretty much by doing this year after year, a few years later, Buffett actually owned around 11% of this whole portfolio value in these fees that he's collected, and this actually propped him up to millionaire status for the first time. Step 7, the first acquisition. So now with all this money that he made, he likes diversifying his investments, so he wanted to go and purchase a company where he could actually turn around the business and make a lot of money in that process as well. So he found this textile business which was struggling. He figured he could actually turn things around here and make this a profitable business. So he started buying shares in this, and before you know it, he owned majority of the company, and that company is now known as Berkshire Hathaway. What Buffett did was actually quite remarkable. He took this company, turned it from a struggling, dying business, and made it into a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company today. It took time, it took a lot of work, but in the end, clearly, as we can see today, it was a worthwhile acquisition. Step 8, the snowball effect. So at this point in his life, Buffett actually accomplished more than most of us will achieve our whole lives. But one thing he did realize was that what he did with Berkshire Hathaway here could be replicated with other businesses as well. So just a few years into owning Berkshire, what he did was then take some of that money and he purchased 2 other insurance companies, and this was the beginning of the snowball effect. And the reason I say this was because once he purchased these companies, he used their cash flow to bring in more money, purchase even more companies, use that cash flow to purchase even more companies, and so on and so forth, making that snowball as large as possible. And all of this resulted in where he's at today, owning major stakes in some of the most well-known companies in the world, including companies that all of us know like Apple and Amazon. Step 9, becoming a billionaire. So as the snowball effect continued, it added more and more wealth to Buffett as these companies got acquired, brought in more money, and he was able to purchase more companies that brought in even more money, and so on and so forth. And as time went on, Buffett actually owned more and more of Berkshire as well. So when they issued Class A shares finally out there in the market, Buffett pretty much instantly became a billionaire. And if you look at those shares today, they're actually trading at over $300,000 per share. At this point in his life, Buffett was now part of the BBC, the Billionaire Boys Club. Step 10, keep working. So even to this day, Buffett continues to run Berkshire Hathaway. So many people have this mentality and they think that once you hit 60, 65, you retire and you just sit back, chill at home, enjoy your retirement. But most of the wealthiest people in the world never retire. They just continue working, they continue doing what they love, and this is what has helped Buffett propel himself to almost $100 billion of net worth. And this kind of sums up the 10-step process here, where you can also achieve billionaire status one day. I know it's a lot of work, but when you break it down into these 10 steps, a lot of us can do this as well. You of course need a lot of dedication. You of course need to work hard initially to earn that initial amount to begin investing. And you don't necessarily have to go down the same route that Buffett did with buying companies. You could just buy shares and investments, real estate investing. There's so many different avenues to make money these days with investments. So what I do hope from this video is that you guys found this inspirational. And if you did, just leave a comment down below and drop a huge like, as that'll truly help out the channel and help promote this video to more people out there and hopefully inspire them as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.